The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome into a Friday episode of Running Point. I don't know why I had to pause. Like, how do I not know it's Friday? TGIF, am I right? My brain sometimes, people. I don't know why you put up with me. Friday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. I'm going to go ahead and put them in that top right-hand corner of the screen so you know where to go if you're in the market for a new or used vehicle. Pop into Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. There you go, right there. Our good friends that have been the sponsor of Running Point for a long time. We always thank them every day for believing in what this show can be. There've been a lot of twists and turns Running Point. The show looks a lot different than what it did when it started, that's for sure. But they've always believed in us. They've always stayed true to sponsoring Running Point and YSN, mind you, one of the biggest sponsors we have. And we tip the hat every day to Greenwood Chevrolet, and we thank them for allowing us to bring you the product that we do. So without them and other sponsors like them, we couldn't do what we do here at YSN. So thank you every day to Greenwood Chevrolet. We have a great show on tap for you. Did you know it's playoff time? Have you figured that out yet? Like, I hope that you're watching this and you're not someone that doesn't know yet that it's playoff football time. We have been hammering it all week. So is everyone. Everyone's stoked, and it's finally here. 7 o'clock. Can't come soon enough. We are T-minus 6 hours away from kickoff for playoff football. This is what the whole 10 weeks of the long, not really long calendar-wise, right? It's only been like since the end of August. So not extremely long calendar-wise, but let me tell you, football feels like it's going on for 20 weeks because it's just a machine. So we've gone through this whole 10 weeks of football to get to this point. This is when teams separate themselves. You'll learn what you'll learn from the 10 weeks of football. Everyone's on an even playing field now. Everyone's nothing and nothing. Your 10-0 record means nothing. Your 7-3 record means nothing. Your 6-4 record means nothing. It's all about how you're playing right now. We've already had some volleyball teams and soccer teams prove that this season. We've had some soccer and volleyball teams prove that undefeated years do mean everything, and it is about being dominant in the regular season. Both sides of the fence are true, and now it's football's turn to go out there and separate the good from the great, and they only do that on playoff time. If you're not excited, check your pulse, because I don't know if you're alive. We're going to preview all of the football matchups tonight in the playoff preview tonight. But first, we do have to recap the happenings from last night. We had our first round of district championships, both in soccer and volleyball. Girls soccer, I should say, was last night, and volleyball. Let's pop up the YSN scoreboard. As always, presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. We thank them for bringing us this wonderful tool and allowing us to bring it to you. YSN scoreboard is here. Whether you're at a game in person or you're watching one of our broadcasts, you don't want to look away for too long, and this is a quick, easy way to check the scores from around the YSN family, whether it be your rival or maybe just someone that your friend plays for, family member plays for, whatever it may be. These are live updated scoreboards, so you don't have to wait until midnight for the final scores to come in. You just hop on and you see how the game's going, and then you hop right back to your broadcast or to the game that you're at. ysnlive.com/scores is where you can find it, and it is presented by Brunette Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. Let's dive into the recap of last night. We had district championships in volleyball, 3 of them, in fact, and unfortunately, 2 of them did not go YSN's way, and one of them had to go YSN's way because it was all YSN. Wellsville, they fall to a very good Canton Central Catholic team. 3-0 the final score there. Wellsville gets swept in the district championship game, dealing with a lot of turnover from last year. I'm really impressed that Wellsville banded together and got to the district championship. This program has been through a ton, and they were picked up by their leaders, and they got to the district championship game after a not a tough regular season on anyone else's standards, but on Wellsville standards, a tough regular season. So congratulations to the Tigers on a great season. They fall short against Canton Central Catholic. A heartbreaker for Hoban. They were the lower seed in this game, so technically the underdogs per se. A very good volleyball matchup. Hoban went up 2-1 after winning set 3, and then Avon just refused to lose in a district championship. They win set 4, 25-22, and then they win set 5, 15-12. So a tough one for Hoban to swallow. They were so close for a district championship. 1 set away, 25 points away, and unfortunately for them, Avon gets the win 3-2 in a 5-set thriller. We knew it was going to be good volleyball. This is just a testament to what I've been saying all season long for volleyball is that D1 is different. D1 is special, and there are so many really good teams in D1. Anyone from 1 to probably 6 can beat each other, and then I would say anyone from 7 to like 18 or 19 in the seedings in D1 could beat each other because it is that spread out as far as talent and ability goes. Plus, the bigger you get, the tougher schedule you play, right? So these teams are playing very good schedules, very high-level volleyball consistently. So that's why you're seeing these D1 tournament games, really, really high-level volleyball. The Fitch one that I went to at Akron North on Tuesday was extremely high-level volleyball, and that was Fitch and DCL. Neither one of them were top 5 seeds. So you got to think like, wow, what this game is going, what is going on in this game of volleyball at D1 is different, right? If you take a 13 seed in D2 or D3, probably not going to be too dangerous to a 5 or a 6 seed, but the 13 seed in D1 is just as good as a 5 or 6 seed. So D1's legit, and unfortunately Hoban learned that the hard way with a 5-set loss to Avon, the first loss of the season for Hoban, and it comes at the hands of Avon in the tournament. So Hoban's season, incredible season, is over. The good news for the Knights, they're returning just about everybody. Sophia Day is their only senior on the team. So yes, they lose a really good setter, but they also ran a 6-2. So they had another setter in the wing. So you might see Hoban just transform into a 5-1 next year with one setter doing all the work. Who knows? We'll see what Coach Maloof draws up. He's a great volleyball mind, and Hoban is going to be really, really tough to beat next year, bringing back all of their weapons. McDonald and Western Reserve. This was the third meeting between the two teams. Western Reserve won the first 2 meetings, but I said it, and I've been saying it for weeks if you've been watching my volleyball coverage. McDonald is playing very well right now, and they came into this game super confident, and they were the better team all night. It was just that simple. They were more consistent. They were in system more. They had better swings. They had less errors. It was just McDonald was the better team all night long. And they kind of are the proof that sometimes it's about how you're playing at the end of the season, not how you played in the regular season. Western Reserve, a very good regular season. 1 loss, won the conference, split it with Middle Ridge, beat McDonald twice. But at this point in time, McDonald was just playing better volleyball. And they ran into McDonald of McDonald, get the 3-set win. This is the first district championship in McDonald's program history. Caveat to that is a very young program. I believe 5 years old is a volleyball program at McDonald. but still, that's even more impressive in my book to only be around for 5 years and then to have that happen. It might be even 4 years. 4 or 5. It's a very young volleyball program. That's the point. So to only be around for that long and win a district championship so quick, it's a testament to Michael Klockner and that coaching staff that has been there for 3 years now, and has just built a very, very good program from bottom up, literally starting from scratch. So congratulations to the Blue Devils, their seniors and their players as they move on to the regional semifinals. McDonald will go on to play on Thursday, and they will play in Strongsville, and that will be against Canton Central Catholic, who beat Wellsville. So that should be a fun one in Strongsville on Thursday. Girls playoff soccer action, Canfield. Oh my word! I thought district championships were supposed to be close. Canfield didn't get the memo. 8-0. They're all over Streetsboro. They cruise unbelievably to a district championship. Nobody in this district even came close to sniffing Canfield. It's amazing. I think this team has a really good chance to get through regionals and go to state. I mean, the way they're playing right now is just incredible. Their defense is phenomenal. They outshot Aurora. I'm going to get this stat from Phil Simone. Once again, shout out to Phil Simone. And let's see what because I want to see the numbers on who outshot who. Canfield outshot Streetsboro 17-1. Streetsboro got one shot on goal all night. My word, that's incredible. Badger, they lose to Berlin Highland 2-0. They fall in their district championship. Champion, still undefeated. They edged Poland 2-1. I think a lot of people, even though Champion was undefeated, a lot of people in the soccer community probably looked at this game and said, yeah, but Poland just plays better people. You know, they have a better schedule. They're gonna bring Champion down to earth. In the flashes, no, they're not experiencing gravity yet. They still get the win. They will go on to the regional semifinal. They'll play Norway in the regional semifinal. Date and place to be determined for that regional semifinal. The OHSA bracket did not have a regional bracket up on their website, so I just know who they're playing because they listed what bracket they're lined up against, but I do not know right now where that will be or when that will be for either soccer team, by the way, for Canfield or Champion that both won. And then you go into the last one. I'm going to just scroll over here. Hoban, they win a district championship in soccer, so they avenge their volleyball team. Girls soccer gets the win over Beaumont. I don't know how you would pronounce that. 5-1. Archbishop Hoban gets the win. They are district champions, and their girls soccer team heading to the regional tournament. So congratulations to the soccer and volleyball teams that advance, and also congratulations to the ones that didn't on a fantastic season. You hate to say goodbye to teams, but as you go deeper and deeper in the tournament, it is just more and more real that it's the end of seasons, and you have to say goodbye to some really, really good players. McDonald advances. They'll play Thursday, and then Canfield, Champion, and Hoban will all await information on their regional semifinal as well in girls soccer. So that'll do it for last night's recap. Reminder that the rest of the volleyball and soccer district championships will be on Saturday. For volleyball, you'll see divisions 2 and 3 play on Saturday. So you'll see East Liverpool, Beaver Local both play. Crestview going to play. Middle Ridge is going to play as well for volleyball. And then you'll also have boys soccer district championships on Saturday. Don't forget about all that. But before we get to Saturday, we got Friday to talk about, right? We have Friday football playoffs. It's going to be a fun time. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will preview all of the playoff matchups that will be happening in the Ysn family. We'll pop back into the scoreboard, brought to you by Burnett Pool, Spas, and Hot Tubs, and see what's going to be going on tonight. And then we'll also tell you what will be on the network and how to go about getting access to the games for those of you that are new to our pay-per-view service. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on ysnlive.com Running Point, brought to you as always by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Clint. Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience,
WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
Go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats. Go Dogs. Go Tigers.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Nestled here in the beauty and splendor of Mill Creek Metro Parks are two of America's best golf courses, as selected by Golf Week magazine. Ranked number 9 in Ohio by TripAdvisor. Come play like a pro on these award-winning Donald Ross-designed courses. Enjoy a round with your kids and unwind with your favorite food and drinks in the grill room. For championship golf, look no further than your backyard. Mill Creek Golf Course.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com. As always, we are brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We want to thank them again for being the people that lift us up on Running Point and let us do a lot of the things that we do here, not just on the show, but on YSN. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every day. We're going to pop back into the scoreboard because we got football to talk about. The scoreboard once again presented by Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs. And we will flip from last night, and we will go into tonight's scoreboard, which is Halloween weekend, October 27th. Spooky season in full effect, and these teams certainly hoping that their nightmares don't come true in the playoff round one. Fitch is going to be on the road. John Hay, where they will travel, and that is a little bit east of Cleveland. So they're taking a trip. We knew when the game ended last week with Fitch beating Warren Harding, they were going to be kind of on that bubble of hosting and traveling. And when it all was said and done, all the results came in. Fitch was on the wrong side of that, so they will travel in the first round of the playoffs. Go to John Hay. But I really like this drawing for Fitch. I think Fitch is the better schedule. Fitch has the better roster on paper. I think the only team that can beat Fitch tonight is Fitch. And we've seen them definitely have trouble with that a little bit this year at times with turnovers and silly penalties and things like that. So if they can stay away from that, be disciplined, and play their brand of football that we've seen them play all year long, then Fitch, I think, is going to be just fine. I really think Ty would probably agree with me because he's probably done a lot more research on John Hay than I have getting ready for this game. He'll be on the call. I think Fitch just looks like a better team on paper. And if, like I said, if they control the controllables and stay away from, the undisciplined things that has befuddled them a couple of times this year, then they're going to be fine. I think, like I said, the only team that can beat Fitch tonight is going to be Fitch. We move on to the next one. Beaver Local traveling to Streetsboro. Beaver Local and Streetsboro, both very good offenses. We know this. We've seen Streetsboro in the playoffs before at YSN. We know how much they can score. We definitely know how much Beaver Local can score. Don't be surprised if this game goes into the very high scoring category. You could see a combined, 75 points out of these two teams tonight. Would not be surprised at all if both teams got into at least the 30s. This is going to be a track meet. It really is. I think both teams have explosive offenses. Going to come down to mistakes when you make them and how you bounce back from them, because neither team is really going to be playing a perfect football game. No one plays a perfect football game. So in those little moments, when do you make that mistake? Is it in a crucial time? Is it in a non-crucial time? And then how do you bounce back from them? How do you get back from those mistakes? Because we've seen a couple of times this year where teams, they make one mistake and it turns into 3 or 4. So you can't let that happen. You got to be mentally tough. And both these teams, you're going to give up big plays, right? The defenses are going to give up big plays because both these offenses are very conducive to scoring in a hurry. The Rockets of Streetsboro live up to their name. They turn on those afterburners. They blast into the atmosphere. So you got to be ready to not just score with them, but also defensively. You got to be ready to bounce back from giving up a big play. It's going to happen. You're not going to hold this team down forever. They're going to make their plays. You got to be able to go next play. You got to be able to make the tackle that is the difference between a 20-yard gain and a touchdown. Like, you can't give up on plays. You can't say, oh, that's a big play, we'll just let it go. Sometimes the tackles that stop a 30-yard big pass from being a touchdown are big, because at least you make that team take one more step, which is one more opportunity for making a mistake. So I think that's going to be the key for Beaver Local's defense. They're going to give up points. They're going to give up plays. Can they bounce back from that? Can they be mentally tough? It's a fairly young team. Can they come together and win a playoff game on the road? It's going to be a tough environment. Streetsboro, it's a very tough environment. The other thing that they're known for, by the way, in Streetsboro is just being very physical. Like, they take no qualms in playing to the echo of the whistle, right? So not dirty. I'm not saying they're dirty. They're just one of those teams that likes to really push that line. We're going to play till that whistle is completely gone, right? Football guys like to say echo of the whistle is what you play to. So that's the Streetsboro mentality. That's what they've been for the last several years. We've seen teams go down there and get frustrated by it. And then they're the ones that cross that line, and then the refs call them for something. So for Beaver Local, don't let them feed into that mindset. Play your game and definitely be able to bounce back from little mistakes you make on defense because this team is going to score on you. This is going to happen. Track meet and Beaver Local, I think it gets to at least 75 combined points. Wouldn't be surprised. Could be the opposite game in United, especially if Brookfield wants to win. It's got to be the opposite. Brookfield, not a team that can run a track meet with the United. These are two different styles of offenses. Brookfield, the same style they've been for a long time. They want to ground. They want to pound. They want to get the rock into Rico Smith's hand. They want to let him just destroy the offensive line, get in there, and 3 yards in a cloud of dust, right? United, on the other hand, they're the kind of the unicorn of the EOAC. They like to spread you out. They like to use their athleticism to get people one-on-one in space and get their playmakers in space. So this is going to be a battle between tempo of the game. It's going to come down to the tempo of the game. Can Brookfield slow it down, or does United speed them up? Because I'm telling you, if United takes a lead early, Brookfield's in trouble. Their offense is not built for comebacks, right? So if they're down 17-20, something like that, they're just not built for quick strike comeback from that kind of deficit. They're not built like that as an offense. So it's going to be really key who controls the tempo, especially early. If Brookfield can get into halftime with either a tie game, maybe a 7-point deficit, they'll be very happy. But if United runs away with the first half and is leading at halftime by 14, 17, 20, something like that, it's going to be really hard for Brookfield to mount a comeback in the second quarter with the style of football they play. It's just not really conducive for coming back. Another thing that you have to watch with this game, with Brookfield's offense, that goes along with that kind of motto, of that kind of, theme, you got to make sure they're ahead of the chains. When Brookfield has struggled this year on offense, watching them during the audible call and being able to see snippets of their games, and sometimes when they're struggling, sometimes when they're not, they get behind the chains. And like their offense isn't built to come back from a big deficit, they're also not built to come back from 2nd and 12, 3rd and 8. They're not that style. They want to have the 2nd and 7, 3rd and 4 first down. That's what they want to. They want to live in that space. They want to always stay ahead of the chains. So United has to win first downs. I think this game is going to come down to United's defense versus Brookfield's offense. Who wins first down more? Do we see more 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10s, or do we see more 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6, 2nd and 4? That kind of mentality. I think that if we break down how many of those we see, and if it's more towards United's side, then United will win this game. And if it's more towards Brookfield's side, Brookfield will win this game. You got to stay ahead of the chains if you're Brookfield. That's how your offense succeeds. That's what it's going to come down to tonight. And I can't wait to see the guys pick this one. I think this is going to be one of the more competitive games in the network. I think this is going to be a very good playoff game in Hanoverton. It's a tough place to play for sure because it's kind of its own little world down there. We have admittedly gotten lost going to United several times, especially back in the day when I was going there as a fan. There's always that one wrong turn that you take on Route 9. So sometimes you get lost going into United. That's kind of its own little world. So Brookfield hoping to find the stadium first and then have a successful night. United, like I said, they're key on offense is to score quick, score often, take advantage of the opportunities you have, and then on defense, win first down. I think is the big key for United. I'm excited to see what the Power Hour crew on the Super Show today, how they pick this game. I think this is one that they'll probably split 50-50. I wouldn't be surprised. There's a reason I don't pick games. I don't hop onto the Power Hour and pick because I am much more comfortable just talking about them and being like, hey, these are what both these teams bring to the table. This is what you should expect. I'm more like that. Just, I get to stay on the fence and kind of like Kirk Herbstreit on game day where he doesn't pick the game because he's calling it. I'm not calling it, but I kind of cop out to picking the games. I used to pick them. I wasn't good at it. We'll go into the next one. Over here, we'll scroll over. Cardinal Mooney will play Akron Bucktel, a team that is probably one of the more well-known teams out of the Akron area. Everyone knows them because obviously it was the school that LeBron James was supposed to go to before he found St. Vincent St. Mary, and they're really known for their basketball, both girls and boys. Very good basketball program, but here they are on the football side of things, And they're one of those teams, learning about them this week, trying to do a little bit of research. And what I like about Buckdale is, and I like about all football teams have this attitude, it's kind of a hard-nosed, heavy working, like wear the underdogs, chip on your shoulder. It's a urban attitude. It's a city attitude, right? Like you talk about these city teams, whether you're talking about, even Cardinal Mooney and Youngstown East and Urson, they have this like grit to them where they're just like, we're from the city. We're gonna prove to you, we're gonna represent where we're from. And I think Buckdale is kind of like Akron's version of a Youngstown East, where it's just like, hey, we're gonna go to you, we're gonna prove to you what we're all about. We're gonna represent the city of Akron for everybody there. I like Buckdale's attitude, and I think they're gonna bring that like kind of grittiness, never say die mentality to this game, which I think is dangerous for Cardinal Mooney, because that means that they can't rest on a 10 or a 14-point lead. They got to play a full game against Buckdale, because they're going to come out, they're going to fight you no matter if the scoreboard says 20-0, if the scoreboard says 7-7. I think you're going to get the same kind of energy and fight from Buckdale, because they're that kind of team. So that's the tough part for Cardinal when they have to play a complete football game from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. At times, they have struggled with this. We've seen them in their losses. They play really, really good at times. They get those flashes where it's like, oh, this Mooney team's really, really good, and they have a mistake, or they have a little drop off, or they have a quarter where they can't score. They can't have that, because Buckdale will take advantage of that. Even if they're up by 14, Buckdale will just keep punching you and punching you. They don't say die. They don't give up. I think the key for this Mooney team, really, I know it's kind of cliche because duh, but you got to play a complete football game. You got to play for all 4 quarters. You got to make sure that you put Buckdale away when you get the chance to. Because on paper, you look at this Mooney team, they're better. Like, they're just better. They have more talent. But the scary thing about this matchup, and the scary thing about Buckdale, is sometimes the hard work and mentality and energy and the attitude they put into a football game, sometimes that can even out the talent barrier. So you can't fall into that trap if you're Cardinal Mooney. The Buckdale is the perfect example of that old adage that hard work beats talent when talent isn't hardly working. So Mooney is very talented. I think they're more talented than Buckdale. I think they're a better team, better roster, better skill position players. But they got to work hard, right? They got to make sure they match Buckdale's energy. And I think they will. Mooney has been that team all year. So that's my take on that game. We'll move on to Canfield. Still hitting the road, but they're playing really, really well right now. Akron East, we saw Mike Pavlansky talk about them a lot this week, both in the playoff preview show that we did on Monday and in the Canfield show later on in the week. He is very high on Akron East. I think he's high on every team they play, because he has so much respect for the opponent. You will never see Canfield sleep on an opponent because of the way that Mike Pavlansky talks about the guys that they're playing against. I mean, he always finds something that they're really good at, and something to drive his kids, like, hey, they're really, really good at this particular thing. Akron East is a running team. Their running back is phenomenal. They're going to try to control the tempo, run the ball a lot. That's their bread and butter. They're going to get into a physical matchup with Canfield. So that's Canfield's key. They have to be physical. They have to stop the run. If you take away the run, you're going to beat this team. Easier said than done, because they have a really, really good running game. But if you take away the run, I promise you, Canfield, they will not beat you through the air. You gotta make them try to do it. They're not going to be able to do it, and then Canfield can win the game if you do that. This is my take on that game. On the offensive side of the ball, Canfield's really, really good right now. They're just rolling. I think they're playing really well as a unit. They've figured out their identity as an offense, and I think Scotty Eaton has a really big game tonight. I think matchup wise, I think he's going to have a really big game. I think Canfield wins on the road. Of course, we think that they're a YSN team. Go Canfield. Let's go. Columbiana is going to shock the world and do all YSN a favor and go to Kirtland and try to beat the Hornets. Columbiana, what a season they had to start the way they did. So many tough losses. We talked to Kean Hartley a little bit earlier on in the season about it, just trying to bounce back from games they knew they could have won. They were right there, and they just could not pull off these one possession games, and they used that as fire. They didn't let that define their season at all. They said, hey, we're right there. We're good enough to win those games. Let's go prove it. And they did that the rest of the regular season. And they earned themselves a playoff spot. I know it's against Kirtland. I get it. I know what Kirtland is. Not going to pretend that they're anything that they're not. But they do have a loss this year. Perry beat Kirtland, so they're not the unbeatable shining armor that they always have been. Still very, very good. Columbiana, go up there and shock the world. Let's go. Crestview going to Pymatuning Valley. I like that this one is actually lined up on the scoreboard with United and Brookfield above it, because I think, like United Brookfield, this is going to be a very competitive game. And unlike United and Brookfield, this is pretty similar in styles of football. Crestview has always been, I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you, I'm going to push you around, I'm going to run the ball, and then I'm going to pop off with these outside perimeter runs every now and then and get some athletic guys some space. But it's going to start by establishing the run between the tackles. And good luck stopping it. And that's what's been Crestview's bread and butter all year. And Pymatuning Valley is the same way. They're always a big football team. I asked Sam Torres at least once or twice a year, what do they put in the food at Pymatuning Valley? Because those boys are just big. I did a basketball game last year with Pymatuning Valley. I think they came to champion. And I was looking, I was like, they're all just monster. What is in the water and how do I get some of it? Because these guys are huge. And that's Pymatuning Valley's offensive line. It says big. It's a big offensive line. Are they the most extremely D1 elite offensive line? No, but they're big bodies and they're strong. And I don't care what you say, that's still hard to move. And that's hard to go up against time in, time out. Pymatuning Valley is a team where you don't want to play in the fourth quarter anymore because they have pounded you into that kind of submission. At the end of the day, football is all about getting your opponent to the point where they don't want to line up against you anymore, right? Breaking wills. I know that's a little dark. That's a little violent maybe, but that's football, right? Football is about breaking the spirit and the will of the other team. That's what Pymatuning Valley is best at because they're so dang big. In the fourth quarter, you're like, I'm sick of pushing these guys around. I'm sick of trying to move this offensive line. How do I get into these gaps? They're frustrating. Crestview's the same way, though. That's why I'm so excited about this game because Crestview is just as physical, just as big. This game's going to come down to experience and clutch plays down the stretch. Who can make the clutch plays down the stretch? I promise you it'll be close. I promise you it'll be fairly low scoring. I'd be shocked if this game gets a team above 24. I think it'll be like that 2017 range. And it's going to come down to the big time moments. There's going to be 2, 3 or 4 probably big turning points in this game. Who's going to make them? Who's going to make the plays? They're both kind of unexperienced rosters, I think, if I remember correctly. I know Crestview has a ton of new kids on their team that are kind of experiencing all this for the first time. So we're gonna see. I really like this matchup. I think it pays dividend. Next one is the battle between Ashtabula and I guess you could say Youngstown area, Niles. 440. Sam's always wanting to talk a little smack. Get the 440 up there. He's got a chance. Edgewood coming to Niles tonight. Niles, when they're going good, they're going great, right? When they have Antoine Gardner running and he's unstoppable like he was in week 10, you look at this team and go, how can you even stop this kid? And that's what they have to do tonight. They have to have everything going because Edgewood can score in a hurry. They've proven that this year. And their defense at times has been really, 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 really good. So don't count out Edgewood. I know they're not the favorites in this game. And I know especially the way Niles played last week, you're thinking Niles is going to run away with this maybe. Niles has the better schedule. I'll give them that. I think they have played overall better teams. But Edgewood, I would say, widespread, athleticism and on the offense, you might give the edge to Edgewood. No pun intended. Pun is absolutely intended. But then the funny thing is, I think the best player on the field tonight is Antoine Gardner for Niles. So Niles has probably the best player on the field. You might argue that on the offensive end, Edgewood has a few more athletes, but when you have the best player on the field, sometimes that can just be an equalizer. I think this game will be good too. I think it's all going to be coming down to what Edgewood's offense does because I think this will be one of the better defenses they've played all year. So how do they respond to that? How can they gather that up on the road? Edgewood cannot get into a defensive battle. They have to score to win. So we'll see what happens with the Dragons and the Warriors. Archbishop Hoban suffered their first loss of the year in Week 10. They go into the playoffs still on a very high note. They have a very favorable matchup. I don't think there's much to say about this game. I think Hoban is just the better team, and they should cruise in Week 1. Same thing with South Range. This is a very high seed versus a very low seed. It's right in the wheelhouse for the first round playoff blowouts. South Range at home. What can you say about the Raiders? They have been playing better football every single week. Every single week they've looked like they've learned one lesson from the week before. Ever since that very close win against Struthers, they've just been almost flawless football and dominant as ever, the Raiders. So they're going into the playoffs the right way, and they should honestly cruise today against Fairless. A rematch in the NE8 between Struthers and Girard. Struthers won this in the final seconds of the game. Girard wants revenge in the worst way. They lost in Arrowhead to Struthers. Now they get to go to Struthers, try to return the favor. Struthers is playing really well right now. I know they lost last week. It was in overtime to a very good Poland team. They decided to go for it, try to get the win instead of going for the tie. I'm sure Coach Bake was asked about that at least 50 times this week. Hey, why did you go for the win? Why did you go for the win? Because he wanted to win. He pulled a Herm Edwards. That's what he did. You play to win the game, right? When I look at this matchup and I think of the way both these teams are projecting, I think it's pointing towards Struthers a little bit. The one thing that scares me if I'm a Wildcat, though, is I've said it before, I'll say it again. Girard's probably the overall fastest roster on the YSN family. You look at the track stars they have on this team, the state ranked track runners they have across the board. They are fast, they are electric, they are athletic. If they get those guys in space, they are very dangerous. You can't really catch up with them. You have to take right angles. I'm very weary of fast teams in high school because sometimes defenses, especially secondaries, aren't necessarily angle sound. And with guys like Girard has, you take one bad angle, one bad step, that's enough for them to just burn you. So that always scares me about Girard, and that should scare anybody that they're playing because they're just one little tiny mistake away from breaking something because of how fast they are. We'll see if they can do that. I think they're going to have to do it a couple of times to beat Struthers. LeBray going to hit the road. They go to Mogador, a very good Mogador team. Kind of gets overshadowed in Division 6 because Kirtland is in there. But Mogador is one of the area powerhouses for sure. LeBray's been kind of an up and down team, right? We've seen them look very good at times. When they played Valley Christian, that was probably one of the best games of their season. They just dominated Valley Christian. And then we've also seen them struggle. We've seen them not be the same LeBray. So I think consistency is the main issue I look at for LeBray. Can they come into this game, be the team we've seen this year, prove that they can be that team, and be it throughout the whole game? Can they be consistent? That's going to be the big key for the Vikings. I honestly believe that. We go into Liberty, traveling to Norway. I think Liberty, this is kind of like when we were in the volleyball part of the show, we talked about McDonald striding at the right time. Are you playing well at the right time of the season? Liberty, not the highest seed in the world because of the start of their year, but they're projecting in the right way. They're playing very good football right now, and those kind of teams are always dangerous. The Moody's, Dewan and Dwayne Moody, are electric. I love Tutwiler as a quarterback. They're all playmakers. They have so many playmakers on the field. They can score really quickly. I think also the thing that people forget about Liberty is they are very prone to scoring non-offensive touchdowns, whether that be on the defensive side, special teams, whatever it may be. They get a lot of big non-offensive plays. I like to call those knots, the non-offensive touchdowns. Those can be the biggest momentum swingers in football, right? So I think Liberty's going to get a couple of those, and they might go and get the win on the road against Norway. And I like what the Leopards are doing right now. An all YSN matchup in Berlin Center, and it's a matchup of the Blue Devils. Lisbon going into Western Reserve. Western Reserve playing so well right now. Luke Henning is a monster. He's doing everything that he wants to do. But Lisbon has proven this year they can beat really good teams. They beat Valley Christian. They beat United. They have that one clunker game where they just didn't look the way they looked all year. And they got that out of their system. I don't know if they'll have another game like that, really. I think if you beat Lisbon, you're definitely going to have to beat them at their best. They're really good at the close game situations. They don't panic. They got that win over United with really clutch into the game kind of plays. So I think Lisbon, if this game stays close and close and close, they've played in the close games. One of Western Reserve's, usually one of their advantages is they're good in close game situations. But now they're playing a team that has done that too. I think this is a pretty even matchup. And, I think this will be a close game, Lisbon, Western Reserve. Another conference rematch right below Gerard Struthers, which is, of course, one. We have Middle Ridge going to Jackson Milton. Middle Ridge looked so good in Week 10, and they are striding at the right time. Jackson Milton on the other end of a Week 10 loss. One thing that Jackson Milton is really, really good at, though, and it kind of plays in the weakness of Middle Ridge, they're good at forcing turnovers. They're really good at forcing turnovers. I think they've forced either the most or the second most turnovers in the MVAC this year. They are really good at it in big situations. Secondary, whether it be interceptions or fumble recoveries, they've done them both. So you got to take care of the football if you're Middle Ridge. You got to be able to not lose the turnover battle, because as cliche as it sounds, turnovers are the big thing that can lose you a football game really quick. You can play a really good game, get a bunch of yards, but if you turn the ball over, you can win the stat battle but lose the score battle because you have 3 or 4 turnovers. So don't fall into that trap by Jackson Milton. Make them beat you on their own merit. Make them not, have to beat you without the gifts. And that's going to be Middle Ridge's key to victory. Jackson Milton's the opposite, right? Take the ball away. Force mistakes. Play clean football yourself. And then find ways to score when you're down in the red zone. They're a really good red zone team. When they get down there, they're usually scoring. So that's going to be the key to Jackson Milton. Springfield gets a home game. We thought that we might see a Lowville-Springfield rematch when we ended the audible call on Friday. That's the way it initially looked, but after all the scores were compiled, that was not what was meant to be. Springfield instead gets a home game against Monroeville, and the Tigers, going to be a really tough team to beat in the playoffs. I think the playoff Tigers are different because this team knows how to play in the playoff games, knows how to win playoff games. They're a very rich tradition football program, especially in the recent history. I know a lot of those guys from their state runs aren't even there anymore, but these are the kids that watched them. These are the kids that interacted with them. They still learn from them. You're still seeing the ripple effects of those teams on this Springfield football program, and I think you're going to see it enormously in playoff time because these kids know how to win the playoff games. They know what it takes. They know what the standard is. So I think Springfield looking very good tonight at home. Ursuline, what can you say about the Irish, right? They've been playing really, really good football. They're much more disciplined, which was one of their knocks in the years past. They were really talented, they could score, but they'd have silly mistakes every now and then that would just cost them games. And that's gone completely out the window. They're so disciplined this year. They're turnover heavy. They love to force turnovers. They have a lot of pick sixes, which is insane. Jack Erickson is probably having the best year of his career as a quarterback. Christian Lynch is going off. This Ursuline team is just poised, and I don't see anything slowing them down, especially not in the first round of the playoffs. We go to Lakeview hosting a playoff game. I just want to give props to Lakeview's program, right? We saw a couple of years ago they were 0-10. And they were just in the bottom of the barrel of programs could be. Then the next year, I think they got like 3 wins. They started to build some momentum. They started to get people to buy into the program. Last year, 4 wins. This year, home playoff berth. That is steps you take to build a program. That is the steps you take. You get players to buy in. You get senior leadership. You get good coaches. You start to just build and build and build. Now they have a home playoff game, and I think they got a really good draw. I think they match up really well against Sandy Valley. I think Lakeview is going to get a playoff win tonight. Go Bulldogs. Southern Local traveling to Malvern. I'm very weary of Southern Local. I think They are a little bit underseeded. I think they're better than what they are. I think they probably could have had a home game. But these Indians are playmakers. They're really good at running the football. We all know that. They're a really good tackling team too, and that can pay dividends in the playoffs. They're not going to give up a lot of those big momentum swinging plays with missed tackles. I think Southern is a very good upset contender on the road tonight at Malvern. Lowville playing Steubenville Central Catholic. Coach Mamula pointing out that this is a very different team they played in the first round of the playoffs last year. So you can't copy and paste. That Steubenville Catholic team was dealing with plenty of injuries. They weren't full force. They are now. And anytime you stick with the same team that knocked you out of the season last year, that sticks with you. So this Steubenville Central Catholic team is going to be very motivated to go down to Lowville. Whether that pays, actual results, who knows? I think Lowville is playing really well, but that's a tough draw for them because there's no way they're not going to get Steubenville Central's best shot. West Branch. Oh, man, this is the workings of a big game for the Warriors. Woodridge coming to town. Warriors offense scoring about 50 points a game. That's going to continue. I don't see Woodridge having anything to do with stopping that. Garrettsville Garfield undefeated on the season. They're at home against Conneaut. Very similar team. Loves to run the ball, loves to be physical, loves to control tempo. What team can do it better? What team can do it more? The only knock on Garfield this year that I can even see is their starts the last couple of seasons, last couple of weeks, I should say, have been kind of slow. We saw Newton Falls take a 14-7 lead. Crestview tie the game at 7. After that, golden, right? Garfield turns it on, hits a gear, and says, "You can't stop us. You can't run with us. You can't keep up with us," which is great. But if you're gonna try to pick an undefeated team, one of the things you have to say is, well, their first quarters haven't been great. So I think one of the things that Coach is trying to do today is get off to a really good start and just put any hope away from this Conneaut team early and make sure that the G-men put away this game before the second quarter comes along. Potters and Poland. I think this one will actually be a pretty good game as well. Potters play good defense for the most part. They run the ball at the setup pass, so they're not a one-dimensional offense like a lot of high school teams are. They run the ball well, but then they are really good at play action and dropping back to pass as well. So Poland's going to have to watch out for that. But the key to that, of course, is establishing the run. So if Poland takes away the run, doesn't let them run the ball, which they haven't done all season, they haven't been a team that lets people run the ball. They've been a really good run defense. Even against South Range, they were running. Their run defense was really good. So, can East Liverpool establish the run to set up the play action? That's going to be the key to that game. I don't think they're going to be able to, but we'll see. Edison going into Ridgewood. Edison, their record, dropped off a little bit. They had a couple of really tough losses, but they've been close in every game. So, I have a lot of confidence that they can go on the road and play close. Hopefully the Wildcats can make some game-winning plays this week and pull out one of those close games. The last playoff game on the schedule tonight is McDonald against Danville. That one will not be broadcasted on YSN, but will be happening. McDonald going to forget the name of they're playing Danville, but the location, I got to double check. Mount Vernon. They're going to Mount Vernon to play Danville. So McDonald, best of luck on the road. What a win! What a hard way to end the season last week with a tough loss to Middle Ridge. Can they bounce back? Can they band together? One thing about this team, they do not point fingers. They are a unit. They are a brotherhood. They believe in each other so much, and they're going to have to do that tonight on the road. One regular season game. And it's a big one in PA. This one will be free, won't be pay-per-view. Mohawk and Neshannock, both teams right there at the top of the conference. Winner takes it all. Going to be a fun one. This is what the season has been building up towards. Maybe the most anticipated matchup in Western PA. So you got Mohawk, you got Neshannock going at it tonight. I know Mike Ackelson going to be excited to see a final on that one for sure. So that'll do it. Those are all your matchups happening tonight. All of them except for that McDonald game and Edison game will be on ysnlive.com/live. Garrettsville Garfield will be Boxcast, but we'll still have the link for that on their page. Poland will be run by the students, but that will also be on the pay-per-view playlist. And everything else will be on ysnlive.com. It is time to give everyone a reminder of kind of what is going on with playoff time. And of course, YSN is having the pay-per-view model for playoff football. So one payment of $9.99 gets you access to every game on the network. So, for example, if you go and you say, I want to watch Fitch and John Hay, you pay $9.99 and you get not just Fitch and John Hay, but you get every game that's on the network tonight. So all these games that you're seeing, you will get for that one payment of $9.99. It is not, you have to pay $9.99 for every game. It is you pay one payment of $9.99, you get access to the whole playlist. So when you break it down, that's what? 8, 12, 16, 20. 23 games plus Mohawk for 24, which is free. Let's just do the math, right? So let's see. 23 games. You pay $9.99. You're paying about $2 for the game. If you round down. $2 per game. You're going to pay 12 at the gate. 15 at the gate. 12 if you buy them online. I think it's a pretty dang good deal. But I also want to remind people, because they fall into this trap, if it's not $9.99, it is not YSN. Do not buy it if it's not $9.99. It's not us. We don't have a subscription. We don't have, you don't have to pay $60 a month for a subscription. Every year we see people, unfortunately, fall for these little pop-ups that you'll see on the screen. We can't control that. It's just the website. It's the way it works. So if it's not $9.99, it is not us. And please do not pay more than you have to for these games. Here's how it'll look like. So you'll go to this live games page, right? And the free game right there, Mohawk Neshannock, that one you can watch for free. Garrettsville Garfield also up there as the game on Boxcast. So it will not be on our pay-per-view playlist. But then you look and you say, okay, no matter what game you want to watch, you click on one of them. Austin Town Fitch, right? It'll take you to their homepage here. You'll scroll down, and then what you want to do is on this page, you will click this green button above the YSN logo that says Get Your Virtual Ticket, $9.99. Click on that, and then you follow the on-screen instructions. It'll take you to this page, and from here, you just follow the instructions, and you buy the ticket. This will get you the whole playlist. So when you buy this, you will be able to... Oh, I have to share the screen. All right, rewind. Everything I just said, we're gonna go back. I'm gonna run the tutorial. We're gonna run it back. All right. All right. So you go to the live games page. I apologize for that. You go to the live games page, ysnlive.com/live. This is what will pop up. Live games, like you do every week. You scroll down. You say pay-per-view. I don't care what game you want to watch. You click on one of them. Fitch and John Hay, right? So you click on this. It'll take you to Fitch's page. You scroll down. What you want to click on. You want to click on this top green button right here above our logo that says purchase your live ticket for purchase your virtual ticket. All right. Don't hit the play button. You won't go anywhere like you do for a normal day watching. You have to hit this green button up here. You click on it there. And then from here, it is pretty much, you see this screen, purple pass. This is what you want to see. From here, you follow the instructions. Let's see if I can do this without actually having to buy something. So you say that, you say add to cart. Do you have to select the city? Probably. No. Oh, quantity. You hit add to cart. Right, there you go. And then, oops, I think I clicked on the wrong thing. I am not doing well with this, am I? So you add to cart, you go up here. So my vision is bad, so it's not as hard as I'm making it look. You go to cart. Let's just do it again because I had to reload the page. Buy now. Add to cart. Go to cart. Okay. Oh. Oh, I see. You actually have to click one. Okay. There you go. You fill out the information and you're good. My vision's terrible. But we just got you through it. Let's see a comment. Oh, this is for soccer. Okay, so comment for soccer, which is asking about sponsorship for soccer tournament games. It is any kind of sponsorship, right? So whether it be a company or a family or a person or the athletic board, any kind of sponsorship that you want to make sure your soccer game or your volleyball game, anything outside of football, gets covered is what you need to do. For that, and you can contact us at info@ysnlive.com. Info@ysnlive.com is where you send the email. We'll get you covered with the prices and what it costs to sponsor a game with all that. So if you're interested in getting a game sponsored for your soccer or volleyball team like this gentleman from the CHS Soccer Boosters is, make sure to reach out to us on social or at email info@ysnlive.com, and we'll get you squared away with sponsoring your soccer volleyball game as well. But football is on the network tonight. That is pay-per-view. $9.99 gets you access. I'm sorry I struggle with it, but it really is easy. I still figured it out in about 5 minutes. So make sure to go down there with plenty of time. I would say purchase your tickets at 6:30 just to be safe. You won't run into, if you run into anything, you can message us. We can help you fix it, and you won't have to miss any part of the game. That'd be my recommendation. So enjoy it all. Once again, one payment of $9.99. Anything more than that, it's not us. I went into overtime a little bit, but hey, it's a Friday. It's playoff football. We're excited. Thank you so much for tuning in today to Running Point. We will see you on Monday to recap all the action. Enjoy the coverage tonight, and thank you as always